California getting closer to passing a new wealth tax, putting any billionaires who haven't already left the state on notice. A union in California claiming to have 1.5 million signatures, almost doubling the number needed to get the billionaire tax on the ballot. This proposal would slap a one-time, right, 5% tax on the net worth of roughly 200 residents. And a brand new study predicts the tax would devastate the Golden State economy, wiping out 100,000 jobs and $28 billion worth of wages. Mike Lee, if it's a one-time tax, I will eat your shoe. But we can't find that out until they get it passed.
Oh, it's not a one-time tax. It's in the bill. They can amend it at any time with the roll call vote.
So this is not that's not the headline way it's being sold. It's being sold as a one-time, but people who read the dang thing will tell you they put a big old loophole in about okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so they can lower it at any time with a roll call vote, and they can make it annual if they want to.
Lower the threshold of who
yeah, you know, look, it's eventually like this is just theft, right? And like what you were seeing in California, and when like this is not new. You have these things all throughout Latin America, right? This is the beginning of a failed state, right? They're just trying to steal from people, and it's like, oh, well, let me go get some money from that rich guy. And like, yeah, in theory, like nobody's really against, okay, if a billionaire pays an extra couple $1 million in taxes, is that really a crisis? No, but that's not what this is. It is, and then also in this bill is a mileage tax. Right? So anything that Gavin Newsom can do to destroy this state.
Yeah, but he's against the wealth tax. He's against the wealth tax.
Oh, yeah. Like he won't sign this into law?
I don't know.
Well, not when he's governor, but when he's president, because then you can't jump from California to Texas.
I think he'd love a national wealth tax.
Jump back down to Venezuela. I am not for this. I believe in capitalism, and this country's the best country. And all 50 states are wealthier than the UK, and that tells you everything you need to know about capitalism and socialism. But do we need to talk about the fact that they're getting double the required signatures? Do we need to talk about there's messaging, something that's going on in this country where people honestly think that socialism is the answer? And it's very easy to say, you're right, the billionaire, it's his money, it doesn't impact me. Yeah, pay your fair share. But what is going on in this country that thrives on people climbing up from the lower middle class to the middle class to the upper middle? We all grew up believing that my generation was going to be better off than the generation before us. There's something happening where this generation thinks that that is no longer possible. And do we need to talk about the root cause of that before crap like this gets through and becomes law?
Can I just raise an issue?
Yeah.
Are people collecting the signatures like, hey, Taylor,
yeah, no kidding.
Why don't you sign this birthday card for Myrtle? How are they? Do we trust how they're collecting the signatures?
No.
The Wall Street Journal there's a paper that the California Tax Foundation has done reporting. Departures have already totaled $777 billion in wealth ahead of this thing even passing, because it's supposed to be retroactive. And then can I also mention Sergey Brin?
Please.
Yeah.
Has thankfully,
he left.
God bless you, right. Quote, I fled socialism with my family in 1979 and know the devastating, oppressive society it created in the Soviet Union. I don't want California to end up in the same place. That was via the New York Times. But the New York Times, if you look at the piece it did on Sergey Brin, it notes his MAGA girlfriend and had a photo of her hand on the back of his neck. That newspaper, if you still get the physical paper, is too gross to even line the bottom of a bird cage. That's the depths it's plumbing.
But then you have Jensen Huang of NVIDIA basically saying, don't worry about all of this. People should stay in California despite the high taxes. We're rich, we can handle it. Silicon Valley, San Francisco is the cradle of artificial intelligence. This is where you want to be. But
that is true to some extent.
But
so.
is it? Is it? Because look at how many people have already left for where there is no state income tax. They're not going to random places. They're going to Texas.
All
they're going
these
to Florida.
all these
over
rich
and over and over
Democrats
again.
can't live with the governments they elect. Like it's
I know.
the people that are leaving, it's their fault. It's like I'm gonna blow the state up and then I'm gonna move to Florida.
But see, that's the thing. But then like you're Florida or you're Utah or Nevada, and you're like, they're all coming my way, and aren't they going to do the same thing? Why wouldn't they do the same thing?
I think Florida has too much of a population, but Utah, that place that's going blue.
California has 39.5 million people, right? So I was thinking like 1.5 million signed the thing, which sounds like a lot, but it also doesn't surprise me that California would have 1.5 million people who would do that.
I will say, and I want to be careful here, I was home last election, was it? Mm-hmm. California, remember we had the delayed congressmen because there was delayed votes. Really shady in my district.
Yeah.
You just walk out and see how really shady stuff going on and how they're collecting things.
Well, Merced is a lovely place to live and visit. I just want California to know that. Taylor, you're looking at Hilton. What's going on with Hilton?
You guys, some good news. The stock's not buying it, but let's talk about it. They raised their full-year room revenue growth forecast, really banking on strong travel demand. Now, the shares are down because the executives are hinting on the call that there is some disruption in travel in the Middle East, but they are banking on a rebound in domestic travel coming to cool United States near you. And they're also citing midweek business travel in some of their mid-market brands.
Midweek business travel up.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. An indicator of the consumer, perhaps, and economic activity. All right.
Oh, no. Dagan has something to say.
No, I just wondered if there was any fallout from the attempted assassination of the president at the Washington Hilton and the discussions about that particular Hilton.